What's going on, movie lovers? Welcome to our weekly movie news podcast. I'm Jacob Bartley, your host, the co-founder of Movie Talk Express, and I'm here with my regulars, Jake Berlin and Gio Ramos. What's going on, guys?
Not much, hanging out.
Just another Friday. Let's get it going.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know how this works, we run through the biggest movie news stories throughout the week. Gio prepares them, and we just give our opinions, whether we like or dislike what's going on in the world of Hollywood. So, Gio, what do we got first on the docket?
All right, we'll start this one off big. So Warner Brothers and Legendary have come out and announced plans for a Godzilla versus King Kong movie coming 2020. The film, the event film, the face-off film, will be part of a trio of films released by the studios, starting with Kong Skull Island for 2017, Godzilla 2 2018, and then Godzilla vs. Kong in 2020. No further details have been announced, but they have announced a shared cinematic universe. I'm going to go last. I'm going to start this one off with Jake. Jake, how do you feel about Kong vs. Godzilla, the trio of films, and the whole shared universe?
Dude, come on. You can't. There's no way you can't be excited about it.
Damn, shots fired.
I mean, nothing against you, but it's just King Kong versus Godzilla. It's two of the greatest, the two greatest monsters I guess you've ever seen on film. What their history, the kind of stories have been told about them, and now bringing them into one universe. It's really exciting. I'm very interested to see how it all plays out. I'm very interested to see how this changes Kong Skull Island. Even though we haven't seen anything about it, it's probably already changing scripts and ideas and places and stuff like that. I love the way they're setting it up too. Like they're going to do two individual movies and then the one movie. The only problem I have with it is it's 5 years away, which kind of sucks. But I'm very excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. It's a monster mashup that we've always wanted, and it's very exciting.
All right, Jacob, how do you feel about this, sir?
This is incredible, man. Like I was telling you guys, I didn't grow up beloving King Kong and Godzilla, but I always enjoyed their characters and the idea of their characters. And yeah, we've had a King Kong vs. Godzilla movie before, but it was so long ago, and the special effects were horrible. It looked bad, And imagine a movie like this with today's special effects. It's gonna be incredible. And I know a lot of people worry about Kong not being able to fight Godzilla, but I think the people running the studios are not stupid. They know that. They know they're going to have to find a way for Godzilla to be able to, or King Kong to be able to compete with Godzilla. And I think they're going to make King Kong bigger than you think, is what I think. I heard some people speculating that they're going to shrink Godzilla. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that would be cheesy. I think King Kong's going to be bigger than we think. And I think it's going to be a situation where his density and his strength is more than his size. Similar to like the Hulk in the Marvel Universe. I think he's going to be able to, his punches are going to be hard. And when he hits Godzilla, Godzilla's going to feel it. And he's going to be picking up pieces of buildings and smashing them on Godzilla and using whatever techniques he can, jumping around from building to building, like hitting Godzilla on the head. They're going to find a way for it to happen. So, and I think we're going to get our good dose of them fighting each other, but what I'm most looking forward to is them fighting together. I want to see freaking King Kong on Godzilla's back, swimming through the ocean, going to fight whoever their nemesis is. What's the three-headed dragon?
I forget the name, but
yeah,
that's the one.
That's who they're gonna fight, hopefully. So I am very excited about this. This is the monster universe equivalent of Batman vs Superman. I'm freaking stoked. I know this was a rumor a few months ago. I'm just excited to find out that it's real and it's really happening, and they're planning it. And I love the way how they're doing it, because they could come out and do this in 2 years, but they're gonna take their time, do the Kong movie, do the Godzilla movie, another Godzilla movie, and then do the
Godzilla vs. King Kong.
Exactly. So, and I read in your show notes, Gio, it said this will be the finale. So is this going to be the last film in the series?
In the trio of planned films.
Okay, I think they could make 3 more after this too.
I'm pretty sure they'll make a Kong 2 and a Godzilla 3, whatnot. Yeah, this is no surprise to me. I mean, shared cinematic universes and franchises are everything these days. So the moment we found out that Legendary was going from Universal to Warner Brothers with their distribution partner, you kind of knew something like this was in the works. And I'm not really that excited about it, guys. Like, I know that's like crazy, that's insane, but this kind of feels like it's a little forced from the studio's part, you know? I mean, does King Kong belong in the same universe as Godzilla?
Yes.
Look at Godzilla and the monsters and all that. Then look at King Kong. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna need to see a lot more before I get excited about it. I'm just King Kong versus Godzilla. It's just not exciting to me. It's like Sugar Ray Leonard fighting Ali. It's like, really? I don't know. I think Godzilla would tear King Kong apart. That's just my opinion. Maybe King Kong is a little more, mobile. You know, he's able to move around a lot
Athletic.
more. Whereas Godzilla is more of a punching bag, slow moving, whatnot. So it could be an interesting fight, but right now I'm just like,
Can I challenge you a
show
little
me
bit?
Kong first, Go ahead.
Can I challenge you a little bit?
Sure.
So, you're saying that you feel like it's forced. This isn't just... They're not putting 2 random properties together that have never lived in the same universe or never fought before.
Right.
This is... King Kong versus Godzilla is like a wide world known thing. Like, everyone knows about it. And this isn't... I think no matter what, it was inevitable that we were going to get this at some point. You can't deny that. Especially with the shared cinematic universes. So it's not forced. It was just a matter of time.
Yep.
They're going to do it no matter what. And you don't know what this King Kong is going to look like. This is not a sequel to Peter Jackson's King Kong, who would be a lot smaller than Godzilla. Because Godzilla stands as tall as the buildings that King Kong's sitting on top of. Like, if he's that small, there's no way he could even fight him. I think they're going to make King Kong a lot bigger, and I think they're going to show you that King Kong is capable of fighting Godzilla in Kong Skull Island. Like, from the first King Kong movie, you're going to know, oh shoot, King Kong does not play. I could see him fighting Godzilla now. They have to establish that in order for people like you who are, not looking forward to it to get excited. So what if they show you some other creature in Kong Skull Island who's equivalent to Godzilla, and King Kong fights him and ends up beating him? Then will you be convinced?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if they do something like that, yeah. But I mean,
I just think you're assuming too much that they don't know what they're doing, and that King Kong's going to be a lot smaller than you think.
Well, if there's anything that we learned before, it's that films with the title verses in it are people's dreams usually get crushed. Everybody was looking forward to seeing Freddy versus Jason. Everybody was looking forward to see Alien versus Predator, and now you're getting.
I think that's going to change
Godzilla.
Batman
year.
versus Robin.
Well, now we got Batman vs.
Or Batman and Robin.
I say this counts as a versus.
And I don't
this
know,
counts as a versus film.
So I mean, we'll see, guys. Kong versus Godzilla. Let us know how you feel about it. Are you excited? Do you have some, concerns about it or whatnot? All right. Well, moving on, we have kind of a rumor going around, broken by Heroic Hollywood. So Marvel is looking to hire Ryan Coogler, director of Fruitvale Station and Creed, to direct Black Panther. This comes just as F. Gary Gray, who was rumored to direct Black Panther, signs on to Fast 8, and Marvel moving up Black Panther 4 months to February 2018 after announcing Ant-Man and the Wasp as a part of their Phase 3 slate. So I'm going to ask you guys, is it possible Marvel can get Ryan Coogler? What's the chances of that happening? And do you like this idea? Do you like this choice? I'm gonna start with Jacob.
As far as Marvel being able to get him, yeah, I'm pretty sure who wouldn't want to do one of these Marvel films, especially when you're an up and coming director. But it just depends on Ryan Coogler. I don't know how he is as a person. Maybe he doesn't want to work on a huge blockbuster. Maybe he wants to work on smaller films where he has a lot more creative freedom. But if they do get him as a director, I'm all in for this. This would be amazing because I watched Fruitvale Station probably a year after it came out, and I actually really liked that film. It was very character driven, and you could tell that he really cared about what he was putting on screen. So, and we haven't seen Creed yet, obviously, but it looks incredible. So, as far as the choices available, I mean, I would rather have Ryan Coogler direct it than F. Gary Gray, even though I wouldn't mind if F. Gary Gray was announced either. But you guys know my first choice would have been Ava DuVernay, the director of Selma. Mm-hmm. But so if I can't have her, Ryan Coogler's a great choice.
All right, Jake?
I'm with him. As far as Marvel getting him, I think they can get him, but I also think that they will get him. I think he's the guy to do it. I think it'll eventually come out that he'll be the one to sign on. I think he's the perfect choice. I don't know why this name never really popped up before, but I like him over any of the previous names that have been rumored for the movie. Fruitvale Station, I mean, it's a movie that many people argue that it should have been nominated for an Oscar. It just got snubbed by its early release date. Creed looks everything bit of what Fruitvale Station was, but in that Oscar November release date. He looks, just from trailers, it looks like it's a return to the Rocky form and, a true great sport drama movie that we've kind of always been wanting for the last couple of years. So there's nothing, everything we've seen from him so far is very positive, so why not go after him? It makes complete sense. He has a very distinct style that, could fit the Black Panther character very well. Very gritty, grounded tone and style that, the Black Panther character really needs. And it'll also help because I think he's someone who can really take on the job just because Black Panther is already going to be an established character. It's basically like taking on a sequel to a movie that happened because he will show up in Civil War. And I think it's, if Creed ends up being everything what we could think it can be, it's only a bright spot into what Black Panther could be if he ends up signing on. So,
yeah, I'll agree with you guys. Ryan Coogler is definitely the guy to direct Black Panther. He's the name I haven't even considered prior to this rumor being announced. And I think honestly he'll be easier to work with Marvel. We know Marvel likes to be in control of the kind of stories that they tell. You have to work between these boundaries. You have these limits. You have these guidelines. You got to do this.
And they still give their directors a lot of freedom too.
Well, I'll argue that just real quick because the whole thing with Marvel just separating with, or Kevin Feige. And Marvel separating with
Edgar Wright?
No.
No.
The television.
The head. Well, the head of Marvel.
Now
he reports to Bob Iger.
Yeah.
The creative freedom is flowing pretty well over there now. So I wouldn't be surprised if not only Ryan Coogler, but what if someone like Ava DuVernay ends up coming back to Marvel just because now the freedom to do stuff, the creative juices are flowing a bit more than what they were.
I wouldn't even mind her directing Captain Marvel either.
That could be a possibility. We know that Ava DuVernay left because it was kind of creative differences over the story. She wanted to do this for the character, and we've seen. Well, Jacob, you've seen in her last effort, Selma, the kind of story that she can tell for a character.
That movie is amazing.
Right.
She did an incredible job. Yeah. I've never seen her direct anything else, so she's 1 for 1 in my book.
Yeah, if I had to choose, I would put Ryan Coogler to direct Black Panther only because he went from indie small film with Fruitvale Station to a little bit bigger of a property with Creed, the Rocky Balboa series films, and now he's going to go a little bit bigger with not a ensemble, but a comic book film, a single focused character. So, I mean, I would rather see Coogler. That's just my opinion. But I mean, maybe if I watch Selma, I'll be like, she needs to direct.
That's the thing. I've only seen one movie from each of them.
Yeah.
So just because Selma was more of like, I don't want to say it was more powerful because they were both powerful films, but just the way Selma was, it was like a big event film in a way.
Well, it was the subject matter.
Exactly. And I feel like she's more prepared to handle a Black Panther, but my mind can totally change after seeing Creed. So.
Right. Well, you guys let us know. Do you think... well, real quick, he's also rumored to potentially direct Cyborg for DC.
Coogler?
Yeah. Because
What?
Heroic Hollywood's report stated that...
it was one or the other, right?
that Umberto saw Coogler present at DC's Hall H panel this past summer for Comic-Con. So
that's an option. That's a
Cyborg.
possibility because Creed is Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think he'll go with Black Panther, not only because it comes out sooner, but because the character is so much more than Cyborg. Like,
Yeah,
he
it
is so
means a
much
lot
of a
more.
deeper, like, it's a very, very deep character, and, he's the king of Wakanda, and, like,
and the film itself is going to mean a lot more for comic book movies.
It's almost like he has these powerful words, and he's leading this nation, and he stands up for certain things, and so it would fit Coogler a lot more. I just think it's a better choice because it's nothing against Cyborg. The character is awesome, but it's Black Panther. It's like it's Black Panther. He's the guy. So
yes, I would say Cyborg is more of a kind of like a what Iron Man Tony Stark is.
Yeah, it's gonna be more of a fun film.
Yeah,
where Black Panther's gonna have a lot of themes in it, like not racial themes, but cultural themes in it as well. And
Cyborg's deep though too because he has the way he turns into Cyborg is pretty dark.
Well, with his father,
he has a pretty not only that, but his father is part of the reason because of that in the comics. He has a very dark history.
So are you talking about? So I read his origin in the Justice League War comic book. Is that the origin you're talking about?
There's that origin. Yeah, there's a multiple where like his father basically doesn't talk to him and all this kind of stuff, and then he turns him in.
His father never goes to his games or anything.
He turns him into Cyborg to save him.
While he's at the lab, some
That's
accident
part of it.
happens, and
There's
his
also
only
other
way to
history,
save his
but-
son is the
Oh,
machine.
But his history, Cyborg's history is pretty dark, and the way he becomes the character and stuff not. But I think Black Panther just like you were saying, the cultural themes and everything else, it just fits better, man. It's so much bigger and more. I don't want to say important, but just like more important, I guess. So.
And it's gonna be the first major African American led superhero film in this generation of comic book movies. So it's gonna mean a lot.
yeah.
As far as diversity in this genre.
Good points, guys. Let us know if you think Ryan Coogler will direct Black Panther, or would you rather see him direct Cyborg, or do you want to see someone else direct Black Panther? Let us know in the comments. All right, moving on. We have an update from Steven Spielberg regarding his most anticipated exciting project in years. So Steven Spielberg spoke with USA Today about Ready Player One. Now for those of you who don't know who Ready Player One is, what it is, it's a book written by Ernest Cline where a kid goes into a virtual kind of reality, kind of like a video game sort of, where you kind of live this life and go on these adventures and whatnot. And so what happens is it's a really popular thing, but the creator of the virtual oasis, as it's called, passes away, but he leaves behind a fortune in the form of like a treasure hunt, and whoever finds it inherits all of his fortune, the virtual oasis and whatnot. But the kicker is that the oasis has a lot of 80s pop cultural references that are part of these puzzles and clues and stuff that you have to solve. And when Steven Spielberg signed on, it got everyone excited. It got me excited. I haven't even read the book yet, but the idea of Spielberg taking on sort of a sci-fi adventure where a lot of references from 80s pop culture will be involved. Now, who was better in the 80s, or who like helped shape the 80s more as a director than Steven Spielberg? You know, just on the films that he not only directed but produced. You got Back to the Future, you got Goonies, Indiana Jones. You know, it goes on. So what he told USA Today was that, contrary to all the fans' beliefs, he's not making a movie to remind people of the 80s. You know, he might leave most of his films out, which has quite a few people worried. But then he goes on to say he wants to focus on not 30 or 40 years, but 10 years from now, what technology has done to us today, you know, where we spend more time, you know, on our computers or on our phones, on social media, whatnot, and less time interacting, you know, as a society with each other, you know. And then he goes on to say, like, this is going to be a cautionary tale, why it's interesting not living in the real world, but what we're missing by not living in the real world. So he wants to focus more on that, more on society, people in this virtual reality, and the pros and cons of it, and make it less about, oh, just 80s, you know, like, you know, I'm just doing this because, you know, people want to see what the 80s, you know, revisit and all that kind of stuff and the references, which will be fun. And he's not going to abandon that idea completely. So what do you guys think? Do you want to see this film, like, not so much focused on 80s references and more on, like, you know, the message that he's trying to send, as far as, you know, humans and technology and virtual realities and whatnot? Like, what do you guys make from this idea? Are you less excited, more excited? What do you think?
I mean, either way, I'm down for it. You know, if he does stuff with the 80s or does stuff with present day and what society is now, it's gonna be good. This subject matter, it was made to be on the big screen. It sounds exciting. It sounds big. It sounds cinematic. And the fact that Steven Spielberg is doing it is really, really exciting. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if he touches on the 80s like people want him to, then that's cool. If he touches on present day like people don't want him to, then I'm fine with that too. Either way, I'm just excited about the movie. It sounds like it can be something really, really special. And I don't know if you guys have thought about this as far, but for some reason, the character, I forget the character's what his name is, but I just see Logan Lerman as that person for some reason. I don't know why.
I could totally see him in this role. Honestly.
I just see him as that character, and we're following him through this oasis, like this virtual reality. Like,
that would be awesome. I didn't even think of that.
Like, he just comes to mind so quickly for me, and he would be the perfect choice. Like, I couldn't even imagine him being directed by Steven Spielberg in this kind of movie, because we know what the kid has. We saw it in Fury. He's on the rise. But I mean, as for the movie and whatever he does, whatever Spielberg chooses to do, either way, I'm down for it. I mean, I trust the guy. His track record obviously shows it. So it's very exciting, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
Yes, I'm totally down for this movie no matter what. Whether he, like Jake just said, whether it's set on 80s references or present day, I'm down for it. But I'm really split on this news because on one hand, I always say I don't care if, you know, movies take liberties and change things from the source material, like from comic books or novels or anything. I don't mind that. But with this book, as far as I know, this book, it has a special place in people's hearts. Like, the fans of this book love it, and it's so beloved. So I feel like if you're going to take this book and adapt it, it's one of those books where you want to stay true as you can to it. You want to do those 80s references. I think he should. But on the other hand, it would make more sense for today's audience to make it about modern day or the future or, the recent past. But I think it would be so cool if he did the 80s because, like you said, he can reference his own movies. That would be awesome, I think. But I don't see if you're not going to set it in the 80s, I feel like you should just, why even base it off this book? Just make a new movie about not named Ready Player One is what I think. So I don't know, man. I'm a little split. Like, I haven't read the book, so I'm not speaking as a fan of the books, but I'm just speaking for the fans of the book. I could see them being really upset that he's not sticking to the source material. And I don't mind him changing little things, but being based on 80s pop culture is one of like the core elements of this book. So I don't know why they're going to even thinking about changing it, but either way, I'm going to be in theaters seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll read one of his quotes that he says. He says, "This movie is a crystal ball into exactly what's going to be happening, not in 30 or 40 years, but between 5 and 10 years from now, where a virtual world becomes almost like a drug of choice, and where we are spending more time in a non-organic space than we are breathing and eating and interacting in real life." So I do like, and I wrote this in the article, that for those of you expecting a trip down memory lane with all these 80s, there are going to be 80s pop cultural references. He stated that it's not going to be completely gone, but he wants this movie to focus on, we're in a world where everyone's so invested in this virtual, that they're ignoring the outside world. And that's what Steven Spielberg wants to tackle. And, I mean, it's Steven Spielberg. So no matter what he does or whatever he says, we're all going to be looking forward to this because this is his most exciting. We haven't seen him done a blockbuster since, World of Wars, right? The Tom Cruise movie with the aliens.
War of the Worlds.
What?
Is it War of the Worlds?
War of the Worlds, yeah.
I think it's
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, I think so.
But no, it was actually Indiana Jones. I forgot. That was his last. Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see just exactly what he's able to do with this. This book and this story, and I just want to say, for me personally, I really hope the rumors are true regarding him bringing Gene Wilder out of retirement to play the Oasis creator, James Holiday, because the role, it's so perfect for Gene Wilder. It reminds me of Willy Wonka, how a guy creates this virtual reality where people can go in, solve puzzles, play games, whatnot, live, interact, whatever. But then when he passes, he leaves behind a fortune for people to solve. Doesn't that not remind you of like Willy Wonka in a sense?
It does.
Yeah, but I mean, like when you say Gene Wilder, it's like
No, Johnny Depp.
What?
No.
No.
Jesus, no.
No, Gene Wilder. Come on, guys.
No, I don't. I mean, I wouldn't be against Gene Wilder, but I'm not dying for him to be in the movie in that role.
I would love to see him come back though. That would be a hell of a comeback. Just to I'm teaming up with Steven Spielberg now. We're making Ready Player One, which will come out December 15th, 2017. So we have a ways to go until the movie comes out. Let us know what you guys think about Ready Player One and Steven Spielberg's comments. All right, moving on. We're going to talk a little bit of controversy here. So Jennifer Lawrence wrote an essay earlier this week with I forgot the name of it. Lenny Letter's site. It's like a feminist site, and I'm not lying. That's pretty much what it is. So Jennifer Lawrence talked about being paid less than her male co-stars and how she failed as a negotiator. Now, I'm not going to read the entire letter, but I'm going to kind of paraphrase it, summarize it, and whatnot. So she starts off saying that you guys won't be able to relate to this problem. And then she says, because I make a lot more money and no matter what I say, you guys aren't going to be able to relate to it. So she says that. And then she goes into who she is as a person. You know, she's very grateful. She wants to be very likable and whatnot, and how this has kind of dictated how she's been as a negotiator as far as, you know, how much she's being paid per movie. And then she didn't want to see herself, everyone to look at her as kind of like a spoiled brat. So she took what she could get as far as making money out of wanting people to like her and wanting to be nice and polite. And then the Sony hacked emails came out, and then she found out just how much she was actually making at the time for American Hustle in comparison to Christian Bale, Jeremy Renner, and who's the other guy? Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper. So when she read that, she could not believe that she wasn't, you know, being paid equally, or felt that she could have gotten more. And then the Sony Hack emails, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a producer who called Angelina Jolie a spoiled brat because she was, you know, negotiating hard. She wanted to be paid what she was worth. And Jennifer Lawrence didn't want to be that way. And so this kind of gave her a change of heart. She's kind of over trying to find the adorable, likable way to state her opinion, that she now sees that, you know, the way Hollywood is, and that she shouldn't be afraid to get what she's worth, you know. So basically, all in all, she kind of took it hard, you know, the Sony Hack reveals, seeing how much difference she got paid and whatnot, and that she wants from this point on to, you know, negotiate hard, get what she's worth, and not worry so much about being so likable and whatnot. The response to this letter has been sort of back and forth. You have actresses like Emma Watson and Bradley Cooper supporting her, but then you have like journalists and people on Twitter just bashing her, you know, saying, you know, you made $52 million last year. What are you complaining about? You know, you have people saying at the time of American Hustle, could she have commanded that much money as her male co-stars given that time? That movie came out in 2013. So I want to ask you guys, what do you take from Jennifer Lawrence saying she failed as a negotiator, about being paid less than her male co-stars? And do people have a right to be mad at her or to love her? Jacob.
So you said American Hustle came out in 2013?
2013.
That means they filmed it in 2012?
2012.
Maybe early 2013? When did the first Hunger Games come out?
2012.
Okay, so she was nowhere near the star that she is now when she was filming or even negotiated for American Hustle. And you got Christian Bale, Jeremy Renner, and Bradley Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should take that out of the equation, because that's not really fair for her to compare their salaries back then. But I'll say this. Right now, at this current moment, there is not a bigger movie star on the entire planet than Jennifer Lawrence. That being said, she deserves to get paid the most. I mean, here's the thing. It depends what demographic you're looking at, obviously, because some would say maybe Leonardo DiCaprio is the biggest draw. You know, he gets paid $20 million a movie, and I think if he's the biggest male star on the planet and gets paid the most, you know, some could say Robert Downey Jr., but she should get paid as much as them or more, because she's globally a huge draw. She's arguably the biggest movie star on the planet, and she deserves to get paid accordingly. So right now, she should be getting paid more, if not equal, more than her male co-stars. And she is, for that movie Passengers coming out. I saw that in one of the tweets you put in the show notes. It's true. For that, as far as I know from stuff that I've heard, for the movie Passengers starring her and Chris Pratt, she's getting paid 20 million and he's getting paid 12. So she's already winning her battle, I think, because Chris Pratt is one of the biggest movie stars on the planet right now as well. So, and she's getting paid 8 million more than him, and I think that's about right for their popularity and the demand for them as movie stars, because Chris Pratt is not as big as Jennifer Lawrence. So this is a touchy subject, obviously, and I don't care what gender you are, you should be paid what you deserve. So, and she's getting it, so I don't think there's a problem anymore, and I don't think you can really compare her American Hustle paycheck to, you know, her Passenger's paycheck. It was a totally different time for her. So,
Jake?
Well, to go off of what you're saying, she actually won an Oscar in 2012 for Silver Linings Playbook.
oh, did she?
She won the Oscar for Silver Linings Playbook in 2012. And
Okay.
then, her next
All right.
film
No,
was
you're
American
right.
Hustle, so
My fault for forgetting that. But so maybe she, but still, even with that
No,
Oscar,
I mean,
don't think she's as big as Christian Bale.
not then, because he was coming off Batman
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But she probably
She
did
probably
deserve,
should have got paid more, but
because she just came off an Oscar
Yeah.
performance, stuff like that. But I mean, as for the letter and stuff like that, I mean, she deserves what she deserves. I think that whether you're male or female, you should be paid however big your role is or however big of a star name you are. I think that's just how it should be. And that goes for Hollywood, or that goes for, you know, the normal workplace and an everyday job. You know, maybe as for people like kind of bashing on her or whatnot on Twitter, it's all opinions. People have opinions on stuff. It's just the way the world works. You know, she's obviously making a buttload of money now. She deserves it. She's one of the biggest names, if not the biggest on the planet. And I'll just say that I'm a huge fan of hers. I have been for the last few years. She's just always been so charismatic and so like just straightforward with everything. And whether it's tripping on the Oscars red carpet or walking up to get her Oscar, or, you know, saying stuff like this, she tells the truth. She believes in what she believes in, and she'll go out and say it, and doesn't care what people are going to say or think about her, which is really great. And, you know, because the world today kind of just needs someone to say stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
And for it to be such a big name like her, maybe it will hit home with some people. And, you know, whether it is Jennifer Lawrence who deserves more money, or whether it's someone like Jessica Chastain or Charlize Theron, you know, they deserve just as much money as well. They're just as good of a talent as Jennifer Lawrence is. I mean, they've had Oscar nominations, they've had their chances. So she's not just speaking for herself; she's speaking for every woman in Hollywood. And hopefully it does change, because I think it should. And, you know, whether it does or not, that's not up to me, obviously. But it looks like it may be changing for her with Passengers and whatnot. But hopefully it does change for others like Jessica Chastain or someone like that, because, you know, they do deserve it, and they put in hard work every single day, and they're on multiple movies and stuff like that. And it kind of just sucks that the world works like this, but it is what it is. So, but I completely back her up, and, you know, I think that what she said was right, and I think that her and other female actresses do deserve what they deserve. So,
yeah, what I took away from this letter is that she's not the comparison between her and her male co-stars is more of like a side thing, where she's just being honest with herself. You know, for the longest time she's battled with who she is as a person. She's very nice, you know, she's very considerate, you know, grateful and whatnot, and she doesn't want to seem difficult or spoiled. But now that she sees the way Hollywood is and how they work, you know, and, you know, those that pay difference was never meant to be seen. But now that you have seen it, you realize you can get more than what you bargained for, you know. And especially with her, she just, you know, she's so afraid of being honest, but people taking it as the wrong thing. You know, she states in the article, you know, I'm over trying to find the adorable way of stating my opinion and still being likable. You know, I don't think I've ever worked for a man in charge who spent time contemplating what angle he should use. He should have used his voice. You know, it's just heard and whatnot. And I'll agree. You know, she's everything you would want out of, you know, the biggest star in Hollywood. I remember her post acceptance speech, or after the ceremony for the Oscars, when she gave an interview. She was being very funny, you know. She
flipped off the camera.
She flipped off the camera. You know, she admitted she just took a shot backstage. You know,
she's very real, man. That's what makes her so likable.
That's what I love about her, man. And I don't mean to bring this up, but another thing that shows how real she is, when those pictures came out about her last year, you guys know what I'm talking about, the nude pics.
Yeah.
She wrote on her Twitter, or I don't know if it was Twitter, but she wrote somewhere. She was like, I was thinking of a way to apologize, but I realized that I don't need to. And that just says so much about her, because she doesn't need to apologize for it wasn't her fault that they got leaked, and she has every right to take those pictures if she wants. So.
Right. Yeah. So, hey, Jennifer Lawrence, I'm pretty sure we all love you more for this now. Go out and get what you're worth, you know, and
keep doing you, man.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of these
not man.
studio.
Yeah, you're
executives.
the best.
All right, and moving on, we have news regarding Die Hard 6. So, and this really pisses me off, guys, so badly. We are gonna get into this. So,
wow.
The studio Fox wants to make another Die Hard. However terrible the previous Die Hard movie is, and it's pretty bad, it's still made over $300 million. So there's still people still want to see these Die Hard films, and the studio's aware of this, and so Die Hard 6 is on the way. One way or another, it's coming. However, and I wrote this. This is the title of the article. Die Hard is about to do the worst thing possible to John McClane. And what the studio wants to do is they want to reboot the franchise. Now, they don't want to take away Bruce Willis completely, but they want to set the movie back in 1979, where John McClane is down and dirty New York City gritty cop. And Bruce Willis will be involved to some extent. Think Looper without the time travel sort of thing, where it's kind of like flashbacks and whatnot. But they clearly want to begin the transition of getting Bruce Willis out and getting in someone else to play John McClane. And I think it's terrible. And I'll go first. Normally I pitch it off to one of you guys, but I'll go first. Bruce Willis is John McClane. All right. Now, people say an actor doesn't own the role and whatnot, and lately we get references like Iron Man, Batman, and whatnot, but those are people wearing masks. John McClane is relatable because he's an average cop who finds himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, for those of you who remember the Die Hard movies, he was just an average guy. There was no slow motion, no dodging bullets or whatnot, he was no master martial artist. He was just a New York City cop that wanted to kick ass. And may I remind you, Bruce Willis was I'm pretty sure he was relatively young when the first Die Hard movie came out. Early 30s. And I just don't like, there's more stories that Bruce Willis can tell. Bruce Willis is only 60 years old, guys. He's not Harrison Ford, 74 years old. Okay? He can still do more. I loved Live Free or Die Hard, the fourth Die Hard movie, where it put him in a modern setting. And, I see Jake shaking his head. Come on, guys. Bruce Willis is John McClane. I don't want this to be a prequel, okay? I would rather them go with the previous rumor where they were thinking about reuniting Bruce Willis with Samuel Jackson from Die Hard with a Vengeance and reteaming them again because their chemistry worked in that movie. I want to see that. I don't want to see a reboot. Don't give me another John McClane guy who tries to be like that. They tried to make Jai Courtney John McClane's son and split the action time between them two, and that did not work out at all. Keep Bruce Willis as John McClane, Die Hard 6, Die Hard 7, Die Hard 8, Bruce Willis. Come on, guys. I can't be the only one. Jake, are you with me or are you against me?
No, I'm not with you. Okay, so you're saying Bruce Willis is John McClane, that there can be no other John McClane, correct?
Just like
no, there's no just like.
just like
No.
Sylvester Stallone as Rocky Balboa. Just like
Okay, well, let me say this.
okay.
So Harrison Ford isn't Han Solo for you? Harrison Ford isn't Han Solo? You're cool with a Han Solo spinoff?
Harrison Ford has always been Han Solo.
But you're cool with a younger version of Han Solo?
But that's different because
How is that
That's
different?
not different
Because
at all.
How is that
That's
different?
not
That
different
is
at
not
all.
different at all.
Harrison Ford is in a different world.
That is not different at all.
No,
Galaxy.
you
No,
can't say
no.
that. That is not a
That is
formidable
not
argument.
different at all. It is the same exact thing.
It is.
It is totally the same
I don't know,
thing.
but we can relate to John McClane more than we can.
We
That's
can relate to Han
irrelevant.
Solo.
That's irrelevant.
He's a normal human being in a Star Wars universe with Jedi and Wookiee and all these people.
Exactly. He's in a fictional world.
So is John McClane.
But it's more of like
A lot of the action
in
scenes in
real
Die Hard
world.
are not realistic.
What?
How? Okay, I just want to know. Like, so you would hate for them to recast John McClane, but you're cool with them recasting Han Solo.
They're gonna recast John McClane regardless of what I say. Now whether I buy it or not, I don't see anybody else as John McClane.
But you can say that about any role. Bruce Wayne, Tony Stark. You say these guys wear masks. Their counterparts don't. Tony Stark doesn't wear a mask.
Can you see Chris
Bruce Wayne
Pratt,
doesn't wear a
Logan
mask.
Lerman, any of these people playing John McClane?
I can see Garrett Hedlund playing John McClane.
Really?
But you could say
I
the
love
same about
Garrett
any
Hedlund.
character.
But
I
I
can see
don't-
Garrett Hedlund playing John McClane.
I don't know, guys. I think Bruce Willis still has more to do for Die Hard.
The dude hasn't made a good movie since Looper.
Red?
That was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Red?
No, that was
Those are
before.
jokes.
I think that was before.
No, that was after.
Okay, well, Looper.
Looper
And
was not that
Bruce.
far off.
Okay, I'll say this: Bruce Willis is now at the stage where he's making straight to VOD movies. Have you heard of the movie called Prince?
Don't say that.
Have you heard of the movie
Don't
called
you
Prince?
ever say that.
Have you heard of the movie called Prince?
Prince of what?
It's called
Exactly.
Prince.
It's just called Prince?
Bruce Willis leads that.
Really?
Ever heard of a movie called Vice?
No.
Bruce Willis leads that. Those have come out in the last year. Those are VOD movies.
Hey, they're still making Die Hard with Bruce Willis, all right?
No, man. Look.
I'm fine with them making a new Die Hard with Bruce Willis.
I'll throw my 2 cents for now. I don't want another Bruce Willis Die Hard. Whoa. I absolutely love the first 3.5 movies or so. Okay, I thought Live Free or Die Hard was good, but I didn't think it was up to the standards of Die Hard. The last one was just terrible. But you could tell while watching the last one that Bruce Willis was just cashing it in. He was just there for the money. Like, he didn't want to be there. I think he's tired of the character. Unless something really great comes around, but it just seems like he threw it in just to be there as John McClane. I think it's time to step away, but also it's too soon to do another movie. Like, the last one was absolutely bombed on by critics. It made a bunch of money, but
Yeah, it was terrible.
it's just like, wait a number of years, then do a reboot or a prequel or whatever you want to do. Like, I'm fine with them rebooting it, giving it, but let Die Hard just kind of wash away and get out of people's minds and then restart it. Like, I think it's too soon for that. I don't want to see another Bruce Willis Die Hard. I think it's great. I think he did a fabulous job with the 3 or 4 movies, 5 movies, whatever that he was in there. Die Hard is arguably the greatest action movie of all time. It's absolutely fantastic. But I think they need to take the franchise in a new direction if they're doing another one. I'll throw the name in there. Garrett Hedlund as John McClane. I'm down for it. I'm sure they can find someone different too. But I stay away from Die Hard 6, a sequel. Stay away from a flashback, whatever, with Bruce Willis. Just kind of give it a few years, then do something new with it.
Who's Garrett Hedlund again?
He's the guy who did Tron. He's
Tron
also...
Legend.
Oh,
Tron
okay,
Legacy.
yeah. So, all right, I've seen the Die Hard movies. They're entertaining. I like them, but they're not. It's not something that means a lot to me.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother F. Come on, man.
It's not something that really means a lot to me. So I'm not as passionate as I am about this as you guys are. But I'm cool with them making another Die Hard with Bruce Willis if they do one or two more. But if they're gonna reboot it, I'm totally fine with them casting somebody else younger. I don't see Gio. How can you say that about one character, but you're fine with every other character getting rebooted in a prequel? Like,
Maybe
it's
I don't give a damn about these other characters.
it's no different
You
than
don't give a damn about Han Solo?
No, how dare you use the Han
just
Solo
said
on me?
that.
No, I'm not talking about Han Solo.
It's no different
I was
than
not talking
recasting
about
Han Solo. It's no
I was
different.
not talking
It's
about.
no different than Ewan McGregor playing Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's no different than Ben Affleck playing Bruce Wayne. It's no different than recasting somebody else to play Tony Stark. It's no different. John McClane isn't more iconic than Han Solo. He's just not. It's a proven fact.
I don't
He's
know.
not.
He's not.
outside of the Star Wars.
No, he's not.
You can't say
fans.
outside of the Star Wars fans.
Han Solo's
World-
he's one of the greatest characters.
Star
ever
Wars is the
created.
biggest property
But you
of
ask
all
people.
time.
But you ask people. Harrison Ford. Do they think of Han Solo or do they think of Indiana Jones?
That's irrelevant.
They're gonna think of Han
That's
Solo. I
irrelevant.
guarantee you, because that's the first time they saw him.
That has nothing to do with this argument, though. So, I don't know. I'm totally fine with them recasting and rebooting any character in any property of anything. So, I'm fine with this.
All right, so you guys do have a point. How dare you use the Han Solo?
But you just said you.
No. You guys are absolutely right. All right,
But here's the thing.
there's gonna
Like
be
I
other
said,
people
Die
who-
Hard doesn't mean that much to me. So, I don't know your perspective, where you're coming from. Obviously,
I
these movies
grew up
mean
watching the Die Hard movies with my brothers. You know,
So, I don't know. Maybe it has its place in your heart.
I think they need to do one more movie. Just like how you can't end Bruce Willis's Die Hard on A Good Day to Die Hard.
Oh, but you can,
no,
and they should.
no. God, I've never been so like, you guys are ganging up on me this whole entire podcast. You know, the Kong and
Yeah,
the,
you're not excited
Die
about King Kong vs.
Hard
Godzilla.
and-
And wow.
God, Jesus.
You're just failing at life today, dude.
All right, move on. Jeez. Next up, we have update on James Cameron's long-delayed Battle Angel. Guess what? He's not doing it anymore, guys. So those of you who've been waiting for the last 15 years to see James Cameron, do Battle Angel, he's not doing it anymore. Instead, James Cameron will now focus on Avatar 2, Avatar 3, Avatar 4, and who knows after that. So, taking his place, James Cameron handpicked Robert Rodriguez to direct Battle Angel. Now, for those of you who don't know about Battle Angel, let me tell you a little bit about it. So, the story takes place in the 26th century and focuses on a female cyborg who's rescued from a scrapyard by a doctor. She's rebuilt and she begins hunting down dangerous criminals. She's sort of like your futuristic Terminator, if you'll say, but more mechanical. She's a cyborg. You know, this future takes place in the 26th century, and people wanted for the longest time to see James Cameron directed this because of what he did for Terminator. You know, how he's handled female lead action, stars, Linda Hamilton,
Sigourney
Weaver, Alien 3?
Aliens.
Aliens, that's what Alien 3 was featured in. So Robert Rodriguez, who's done Sin City, From Dusk Till Dawn, and a couple other movies that I can't think
Terrible
of right
movies.
now. Yeah. He was handpicked by James Cameron for this.
Whoa. The first Sin City is not terrible.
Yeah,
not.
it had Bruce Willis in it. Yeah. So, but you guys, what do you think about this? Do you want to see? Would you have rather seen James Cameron do a Battle Angel, given the short description I just told you, or do you want to see Avatar 2, 3, and 4? And how do you feel about Robert Rodriguez directing this? So, let's start with
do
Jake.
we know if this is canceled because it's Avatar 2, or is it Avatar 3, or is it Avatar 4? Like which sequel it is?
Well, it just said that James Cameron won't be able to commit to director
Because
anymore
of the
because
sequel.
he's so invested into Avatar
See,
now. For the
like
next.
I loved Avatar. I thought it was absolutely it was just mesmerizing. A movie that was probably a few years ahead of its time, at least. But at this point, I just don't care about an Avatar 3 or 4. Like, I'm interested in a 2. Like, okay, I'll go back to the world, see what it's about. But I just don't care about a 3 and 4. And, you know, from what the short summary you read, it does sound very interesting. And I would have loved to seen James Cameron kind of jump into that world because he is so good at it and has been in the past. So that kind of bums me out a bit. I mean, I never heard of the movie before I got the show notes, so that says that. But as far as him handpicking Robert Rodriguez, I don't see how or why he would. I mean, I haven't liked a movie of his. I mean, if ever. I mean, really. I mean, I just don't like his style.
About Once Upon a Time in was that him? Once Upon a Time in Mexico.
I've
and
never
Desperado?
even seen him.
Really? Those are
Desperado was Robert.
those are
So,
regarded
I mean,
as two really great films.
Okay, well,
but I saw them when I was a kid, so I can't really say.
So yeah, I mean, I the movies I've seen from him, they are just, I do not like them at all.
And most people like Sin City, but
I wasn't a fan of it. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it. So
What about
Machete?
no, come on.
I liked the first one.
Come on.
No,
Spy Kids?
No,
Spy Kids.
come on. So it's, I mean, obviously James Cameron, if he sees sees something in someone, it's for a reason. But as for canceling the movie, it is what it is. Just because I never even heard of it before today, so it doesn't really hurt me that much, or do anything to me. Would I have liked to seen it? Sure. Would I like to seen it from Robert Rodriguez? Not really. I would have rather seen it from James Cameron. So,
Jacob?
Yeah, I haven't really heard of. I heard of Battle Angel. I've heard the name before, and I knew it was something that James Cameron had on his docket, but I didn't know anything about it at all. So it doesn't really matter to me that this project is getting pushed back or getting directed by somebody else other than James Cameron. But as far as the concept of it, it sounds very intriguing. I would be interested in seeing a movie like this, and especially from James Cameron. I've been 50-50 with Robert Rodriguez. I remember liking his early films, the ones I mentioned earlier, and I actually really like Sin City. And as a guilty pleasure movie, actually, as for both Machetes, they're like guilty pleasures for me. They're so funny to me. I don't mind like stupid humor like that. So, and not that he's gonna bring that to a property like this, but I don't think it would be such a bad idea. Hopefully, he can maybe get back to his roots of his better films and get back to that style of directing. So, and like you said, obviously James Cameron chose him for a reason. And is this official or is it just?
No,
is he
it's
officially
official.
Directing?
Yeah, James
Robert
Cameron
Rodriguez
talked
is?
about it. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, if it's happening, I'm on board with it. But as far as the Avatar, I don't know, man. I liked Avatar, but I didn't think it was a great film. It was good, but obviously visually,
The cinematic experience.
I'd have to think about it, but visually, probably the best movie I've ever seen visually, but not a story and anything like that. So I am not really interested in any Avatar sequels at all. I'm not. I'll be there. I'll see it, but I'm not gonna. It's not gonna even be on my top 10 anticipated for that year. So, I mean, this news doesn't really come to a surprise to me. I knew James Cameron was putting Avatar above everything else that he's doing, and rightfully so. It's the biggest movie of all time. So, kudos to him.
He owns two of the biggest movies of all time, so he whatever he wants, he gets.
That's gonna change this year. Star Wars, baby.
Yeah, Battle Angel has been like the nerdiest of fans have been excited.
I like the
about
name.
It.
It sounds so cool.
Yeah, it does.
Battle
Yeah,
Angel.
futuristic. It's more of James Cameron taking on another project than just giving us Avatar 2, 3, and 4.
And what is he gonna do with Terminator? He gets the rights back soon.
Oh, he's not gonna do anything.
Yeah,
I don't
it
think he'll do
sucks,
anything.
man.
But yeah. Now, would you guys rather see Avatar 2, 3, and 4, or Transformers 5, 6, 7, and 8?
What kind of question is that, man?
I ask you guys.
If Michael Bay's directing Transformers, then Avatar.
Okay, Jake.
You're a big Transformers fan, though.
I am, but the whole Michael Bay thing is pissing me off. So at this point, I'll go Avatar.
I'd rather see
Just
Power
because-
Rangers 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I'm a bigger Transformers fan, but because of the whole poo stuff with Michael Bay coming back, I'd have to go Avatar. But I don't really look forward to either one at this point. As if Transformers gets another director, like a Steven S. Knight, I will be stoked again. But at this point, I just don't care about it. So.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well.
All right, that's going to do it for our weekly movie news podcast. I want to thank Jake Berlin for joining me today. Where can they find you online, man?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake.
Oh, yeah, new name.
Well, Facebook will be Jake Berlin. And Twitter and Facebook at Apocalypse, and then apocalypse.wordpress.com. And
I want to thank Gio Ramos for running down the movie topics for us today. Gio, where can they find you online?
Yeah, not my best day, guys, but I tried. On Twitter at Giorgio Ramos 24. Hopefully you guys show me more support than I've gotten during this podcast. Come on, guys. Bruce Willis for Die Hard.
Man, we just don't understand where you're coming from sometimes. And I'm Jacob Bartley, your host. You can find me on Twitter. I tried to change my name to Grand Moff Bartley, my Star Wars name, but it would not fit. I was so upset. And I've maybe put one F or take away the D, but I don't want to do that. So I changed it to my fantasy football name. It's Bartley Beast. So find me on Twitter at Bartley Beast. And you can find me on Facebook at Jacob Bartley. And you can find me here on the YouTube channel pretty much every week. Please subscribe if you haven't. And if you are subscribed, please hit that like button. And this might be one of the last times we're coming to you as Movie Talk Express. We're going to be changing to Apocalypse Movies pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that, and don't freak out when you see the name change. All right, see you guys next week.